We have a very, very important announcement to make, and Hallie is going to step up here and make that announcement.
Good morning, everyone. So we were just informed earlier today, there was a positive exposure, an IL resident that participated in the Hearth Tones gathering yesterday. So if you participated in that, you'll be receiving an exposure notice and a phone call. Our exposure guidelines state that an exposure consists of anyone 15 minutes or longer within 6 feet of each other, unmasked. So if you remain masked in this meeting, you should be fine, but just know that you will need to comply with testing. So any questions, Pastor Leslie and several of us will be reaching out, and we appreciate everyone staying safe.
Thank you, Hallie. So that's the reason that I've asked everyone to put your mask on. This, sometimes we kind of let it slide. This is not the day to let it slide. Hunter, you had a question? What's that?
I have no idea what that young lady just said.
All right.
And she's got a face mask on.
Okay. Thank you. So, Pam, did you understand it? Okay, somebody said no. So, yesterday at the Hearth Tones, one of the people there has now tested positive for COVID, which means that everybody that was at the Hearth Tones has been exposed because they were sitting close to people for more than 15 minutes, potentially. So because the discovery was just made this morning, Pastor Leslie and others have been notifying people, but because it was this morning, haven't necessarily gotten to everybody. So if you were in that group and you are in this room, as long as you keep your mask on, that's part of the protocol, you're fine. When you get back to your apartment, you will receive a sheet explaining what you need to do. For those of us who are not there, that is why it is so imperative that we wear our masks all the way through this meeting. Okay? Any questions?
Yeah. So what do you need to do?
What? If you are one of the people who was involved, you will receive a flyer telling you exactly what you need to do. And tests. All right?
Is this for everyone that attended Hearth Tones or those within a certain distance?
Well, everyone. Everyone. Denise? No, don't pull your mask down. We can hear you. You will be contacted. Okay? All right. Yeah.
Only with the person who tested positive.
Oh, yeah. Reggie makes a good point. Only if you were having dinner with the person who tested positive. Okay? Thank you. All right. I think it's time for a prayer. Leslie.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Loving and gracious God, thank you for being in our midst. Help us as we gather today for resident council. Bring us creativity, passion, and integrity of working together. We give thanks for the ways you have strengthened us in this past, and we know you will continue to guide and direct us now and in the future. We are grateful for the many ways you sustain us. Your presence in our daily lives renews us and gives us hope. Thank you for the many blessings we have, and where there is illness or suffering, we pray for the gentleness of your Spirit to sustain and bring healing. We pray for those suffering in time of war and we pray for peace to come. For this and so much more, we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you. So I just, when you, part of what your wonderful prayer, Leslie, just made me think about, if you look at the picture up here, that's just from a couple of weeks ago with the crew out there practicing. And we all know from Boys in the Boat and whatnot, that it takes everybody working together to get things done. It's going to take everyone working together to make sure we stamp down COVID-19. So we've got to follow the rules. With that, I will call the meeting to order, and we'll begin with approval of the minutes by May.
Okay. Last month's minutes, I received no corrections to the minutes of the January 11th Assembly, so I would ask for approval of the minutes as distributed.
Been moved.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved.
All right. The treasurer's report. Well, as you may noticed, Allison is not here today. She couldn't make it this morning. So here's her report. The balance in the account has not changed. It's $4,125. Last week, when the Residents' Council, that's the floor and building chairs, met, we discussed a donation for this year, and it was agreed that we should donate again to Medic One Foundation, and that the amount this year should be $2,000. So what we'd like to do is ask now for the body to approve that. So I will make a motion that the Hearthstone residents donate $2,000 from the Residents Fund to Medic One. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. And thank you to Medic One. So the Employee Appreciation Fund. Carolyn's not here today either. So she just wanted to give a reminder that it's an easy way to give is through the monthly donation. It's a simple part of your monthly Hearthstone statement. If you're interested, forms are available in the Business Center on the lower level. She urges you to take part. Having said those things, it is now time to hear from Hearthstone management. Let's welcome Reggie.
I'm going to hold this so I can keep my mask on. Everybody hear me okay? All right, great. I'll keep my comments brief so we don't have to stay in here any longer than necessary. I'm here because a couple of my colleagues are not. Tim is not here today, mainly because we are in survey with the State Department of Health and Human Services. And as the same goes for state. There we go. Thank you, Frank. So Stacy's very much involved with those surveyors. I think they're probably wrapping up today. They've been here each day this week. Started at 5:45 Monday morning. And so that is for the health center. That's our skilled nursing area. It is an annual survey. During COVID, those surveys were lighter in nature. And so this is kind of the real first intense survey that we've seen. They have a team of 5 people here. That also then affected Tim's area in maintenance and facilities. We had the fire marshal here day before yesterday. I think that's right, not yesterday. But anyway, that was a pretty involved survey as well, and a lot of follow-up, a lot of work to be done now in the background to satisfy any concerns that were raised during the survey. So that's Tim and Stacy while they're not here. Of course, Jack is not here. Jack works remotely, our CFO. But I did want to share that the tax letter that many of you are anxious to get, they've promised to have that by the 15th of this month. So that's next week. So you should be receiving that. Good for you for filing your taxes early and not waiting to April the 15th. Beyond that, I'm going to switch the order on Jeff here. And Joe, I want to go ahead and have you come up. Joe Barron is our general manager for Sodexo. He's the director of our food services, dining services program. And he's got a little bit of news that he wants to share with you. Then after that, so I don't have to come back up, Jeff Smith, our transportation manager, has an exciting presentation about our concierge driving. Okay. You want to hold it? Or?
I'll try this and see. Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I just wanted to share a little bit of news coming out of the dining area. Our executive chef, Morgan Clements, will be leaving us. And I think it's worthy to share this information because he's been such an integral part of our team and of our community. So he got a position that's going to benefit him and his family, going to be closer to home and closer to his family. So we want to wish him the best. We really enjoyed having him here. He's done a tremendous job for us. And some of you may miss his singing during birthday dinners. But we are actively searching for another executive chef. But just like to recognize Morgan. You want to stand up? Okay, thank you. Oh, yes. So we are planning, dining services is planning a kind of a going away party for him around 1:30 or so in the dining area. So if you'd like to stop by and wish him well, then on Friday, okay, yes, Friday, which is tomorrow. So if you'd like to stop by and wish him well, please do. Thank you.
I think you need to pause for a minute, let Stephen change things.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah, I just wanted to talk briefly about our new concierge program. We really intended it to be two different types of services. The first one is, there we go. Is a scheduled service. It's something you guys are pretty familiar with. It's going to be very similar to medical. You can call or sign up in a book that we have downstairs. It's anything that you know that you're going to be doing in the next, several months. That's the airport. We've already done a few runs down to the airport. Salon trips. We can do medical beyond 7 miles, which is our range for our traditional medical. We can still take you. It would just be part of the concierge program. And then, of course, any fun trips, casinos, trips to visit your family, anything that you have pre-scheduled, we can schedule you for a trip for that. There we go. But then the other service we want to have to do is a last minute service. That would be something that you would call an Uber for, just something that comes up sort of last minute, whether it's, something critical or even something fun. Just like yesterday, somebody called me and had some friends in town, and they said they just wanted to go to Pike's Place Market with their friends that have never been there. So I just took them on down there because I had the time. And I won't always be able to accommodate because it'll just be me to start as we only have 2 drivers, but I'll do my best to always accommodate the last minute requests. And so we really just want you to try me first. If you're going to call an Uber or a taxi, then just call me first and I'll do my best. If I can't, then of course we can fall back on other transportation. But we can take you shopping, to the mall, to the bank, and of course visiting friends and family. So these are just some frequently asked questions. I did a lot of research into, transportation costs and the algorithms that Uber, Lyft, and taxis use. And we settled on $3 a mile for a rate that will pretty much always beat any other transportation out there. And if you find a quote from somebody that is less than mine, we'll beat it. So we always want to be cheaper than the other guys. And of course, we do have a wait charge, but only after 30 minutes, and it's just 25 cents a minute. So it's for a long wait, we would have a charge. But basically, most of the trips will just be the $3 a mile. We do have a rule, though, that if you need to cancel, we just ask that you do it within 24 hours, just so I can, keep my schedule as up to date as possible. And as far as payment, you don't have to bring cash or credit. It goes right onto your room, just like, if you were in the dining room. And also another benefit is that we're Hearthstone employees, so there's no tipping. They mentioned the Employee Appreciation Fund earlier. And yeah, your donation to that, any tipping that you want to do would just go into the fund, and you don't have to do that for your driver. And so that's another savings over a taxi or Uber. We are just doing standard hours to start, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and we're looking at doing nights and weekends, but we need to see what the demand is for it. And we need to, of course, evaluate if we can expand transportation to accommodate that. But everything's up for discussion. So if you call me and you need something that's a little after hours, just, I'll do my best to make it happen. And of course, the more people you add to the ride, the cheaper it becomes. So we have 4 seats. And so when I took the people yesterday to Pike's Place, there was 4 people in the car, which means you only pay a quarter of what you would normally pay. So if you have, people that want to go along, it makes the ride less for everybody. And we really didn't want to put a limit on the range as far as where I can take you, but we're putting a soft limit, I think, of 30 miles, because after that, the costs just start to add up. At $3 a mile, we're getting over $100 for a one-way trip. And like I said, everything is negotiable. So you can always call me and we'll try to accommodate. But 30 miles would get you to Marysville on the north end, North Bend on the east side, and Tacoma on the south end. So that's, that's pretty far. But again, if you call me and you need something custom, we can make it work. And let's see here. Yeah, and so we're going to be putting this on Touchtown, and also probably in some little posters around the Hearthstone. The scheduling number is the same for medical, so you just would want to call that to arrange rides. And then we do have a dedicated concierge cell now as well. So that's what you want to use for pickups, or if you need anything else, anything that's really urgent, you'd want to call the cell number. But yeah, that's our new service. And of course, if you have any other questions, just feel free to contact me. And, I love talking about it. So thanks, everybody.
You, Jeff. Greatly appreciated. All right, let's hear from a whole series of resident committees. And we'll start with the dining committee. Penny, do you want to come on up here? And if you just come up here to the front so that your likeness is captured on the camera. Yeah, I know you do.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Yes? No? Oh,
Right, no, just directly like this. It's on.
Okay.
Right there.
hello? There we go. Okay. Since the dining committee met yesterday, minutes will be posted and distributed in next week. So give us a few days. Typically, the minutes get approved by Joe Barron, and then once he approves them, they get distributed. Here are a few highlights, however. Reggie attended and will continue to attend every so often. The February special meal will be a sit-down dinner on the 14th. Reservations are now being taken, so please remember to book your table. And starting sometime in March, the bistro will offer soup, salad, and a sandwich combination. And there's other good stuff in those upcoming minutes, so please be sure to read them when you get them. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So Meg is getting ready here because there has been a really exciting committee working very, very hard. It is the one that we are calling the New Newsletter Committee. And Meg is a member of that and is going to give us her report.
I don't have to get up
No.
and go anywhere. Okay. So many of you participated in a survey, 135 surveys returned, which is, can you not hear me?
There you go.
Okay, right there.
There you go.
Right, okay. Many of you responded to a survey that the newsletter committee put out. 135 responses, which is pretty amazing. We have tabulated the results, and Voicelin is working to figure out how we can put them out in an intelligible fashion, a good presentation of them. There were 71 suggestions of names for the new newsletter, and the committee is also working through those to narrow it down in preparation for putting it out to a vote of the residents. We have not concluded our work, but our likely recommendation, this is a quote from something I wrote down at the meeting that they said, write that down. The newsletter will be driven by an editorial team consisting of residents with a staff representative to provide logistical support and liaison with management, among other things, to obtain information for the newsletter from management and resolve any concerns on either side about content. The newsletter will also need to be satisfactory for marketing purposes. In other words, we're looking at a joint publication, but largely driven by residents. We're also recommending that the work be spread around within this editorial committee to a considerable degree. We're looking at the idea of co-editors and assistant editors for certain content areas. And finally, we're now looking for volunteers. We've been thinking about volunteers all along, but now we're actively looking. So raise your hand. We'd love to have you. We expect to have a lot of the same writers continue, but we're also looking for more writers. But in particular, we're looking for members of the editorial team, and the committee is also specifically looking at lists of residents. We'll look at our next meeting, look at lists of residents to identify potential participants that will be asked to participate to see if they are willing or interested in participating. So we're working on it. I wouldn't expect a newsletter before April, if that, but we're working on it.
So a question, if someone wants to volunteer, who is it that they contact?
Oh,
You or?
Yeah, me or Laurel, either
Okay.
one, me or Laurel Johnson.
Great. Thank you very much. There's been another committee hard at work, and that is our August, how do we say this? Entry to the dining room furniture committee.
It had a long name. Thank you. I hope you've all seen the picture board.
Georgia, you got to get real close.
I hope you've seen the picture board that is in the dining room showing the proposed furniture for the dining room wait area. Is there anyone who hasn't learned that that we've had a proposed furniture change? Oh, good, good. We've heard from a few people, but if you feel that you have not been heard, I want you to contact me with whatever comments you have. And in the absence of major concerns, the committee will order the proposed furniture next week. So you have a week to bring me information that you want heard. The wait area committee has been a joy to work with. And there's a few here. Would you stand up, committee? Yay! This is the resident council thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. Wait a minute. Thank you, Georgia. Well done. Now time for the movie committee. Don?
These are exciting days for movies. Um, so I'll try to be as brief as I can. First of all, we're in the middle of a series of movies on Saturday night called Movies About Making Movies. We have 3 of those left in this month, and there is a handout on the table back there if you need a list of what's going on. But that's just the beginning. As you know, this is Oscar season, and Oscar night is Sunday, March 10th, and we are going to have another Oscar night gala. Plans are in the works for that gala. There will be food and drink. There will be decorations. We want you to put on your finest and come and celebrate. And we will be watching it in the lower level using the new TV that is down there. Okay. There is also another handout on the table back there that lists all 10 Oscar-nominated Best Picture films. We are committed, if we can, to show all 10 of those movies before Oscar night. Right now, there are 8 of those 10 available to us on streaming services. And the last 2, we still have 3 weeks before we would show them. So we're hoping that they will become available in that period of time. There are some very interesting films this year that are nominated for Best Picture. So you'll want to come and see. These are going to be here in the chapel starting on Tuesday, the 27th of this month. We will run a movie every night, Tuesday through Friday, and then we will have a matinee on Saturday. The reason for that is that there are 2 of the films that are 3 hours or over. The Killers of the Flower Moon, Flower is 3 hours and 26 minutes. And they suggest that you not take you got to keep your eyes on that movie. So we'll have bio breaks, but other than that, we're not going to do a break. Okay. The third thing is that on Tuesday next week, we will be showing Boys in the Boat right here and so I don't know if anyone else has made this announcement, but on Monday, we will be installing a brand new projector that replaces that one. It is a laser projector, and it will rival the sharpness of the TV screens. So that's a really big item. And it's so fitting to have The Boys in the Boat as the first film we show. I think that is everything that I have. Any questions? Okay. 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. Thank you. Shall I give it to me?
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. So now we're going to have a report from a committee we haven't heard from in a long time, the Gardening Committee. May Bell.
Hi there. Can you hear me? All right, great. If you've been out and about, and we all have, you notice that the 4 runners of spring are everywhere you go. Crocus, daffodils, all of it. And those are the triggers for the Gardening Committee to get busy. And so I'm here to say that Jackie Backus, B-A-C-U-S, and Maybelle, me, are coordinating our efforts for this year, and we're about to start. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about this committee, including our president, we are not a ghost committee, but we don't spend much time in meetings. In fact, we spend very little time in meetings. It's mostly our work, the tasks that we do. So we'll only meet once or twice a year. Not a lot of time if you don't like meetings, and if you do like digging in the dirt or designing gardens, then we are open to have some new members. We would love for you to join us. You can contact myself or Jackie, who's not here today, but she's here most of the time. And we'd be glad to introduce you to the group and give you a little history and find out what you would like to do to help us.
Thank you. Well, it was a ghost committee. That's why I didn't really understand. So, well, we have a question. Yeah.
No, it's an interesting question. Thank you, Therese. For more than 20, 30 years, there was one gardening committee, and that was at Lakeside, but that's before we had our other residences. So the way that we've kind of worked it in the last, but it hasn't been very formal, so that's why nobody knows. In truth, we've got a person who's directing the Cove Garden. I think that's Tony. Are you here? And we also have a number of folks who work the boxes, the beautiful flower boxes. So we may ask the person doing the flower boxes to join one committee. Mostly the Lakeside Committee has been responsible for the pots on our patio behind the medical center that get a lot of visibility, let me say it that way. Many, many people who visit their folks here, that's where they sit and look. And we've had really an army of folks who have watered and cared for and pruned all these years. Does that answer your question? And we may take on a few more pots to just give you, hopefully to encourage anybody who's thinking about it and not sure if you'd like to join. When I moved here 3 years ago, I left my, a garden that I had worked for years with, and it was a real loss. I didn't know what to do. So Don said to me, well, go tell them that you'll dig in the dirt, any dirt. And Jenna Harmon has been our chairperson for many years. And she said, do you see that parking median? And from the back of the building, there's a parking median between the street and the sidewalk. And it had 3 rose bushes and a lot of pebbles, rocks, and terrible dirt. And so for the last 3 years, my task has been to get that soil working. And with the help of a couple of folks who like to pull weeds, we've now got a garden that blooms something all year long. So if you have an idea of what you'd like to do to contribute to the Hearthstone exterior beauty, you call me or Jackie. We'd like you to know that by the end of next week so that we can start getting our work done. Yes.
Meg, are you funded? If you want to buy new plants or pots, do you have a fund? Does the resident council give you money? No.
It has been developing, and this is a tribute really to Jenna, who's done a tremendous amount of effort, and who has a child, a son who helped me. I mean, he went to the zoo and got Zudu, a whole pickup load 3 years in a row. And so until recently, really until this year, the lakeside part of the gardening has not had any funding. But I've chatted with a couple of folks, and we will have a budget this year. But it doesn't mean that those of you, I mean, what often happens is I'll open my door and there's a pot of something that needs to be planted, and I never even know where they came from, but they get planted. And so we're still open to certainly if you receive a beautiful thing of tulips for spring and you enjoy them inside and then you don't have a place to plant the bulbs, leave them in front of my door and you'll see them out there in the meadow we call that parking median.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. And the answer is a definitive yes. Hearthstone does pay for the gardening needs. Okay, and now Sylvia is going to tell us a little bit about the gift shop. Sylvia, come on all the way over here so that you're in the camera. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I just kind of wanted to give you a feel for what's going on. I get questions from people during the year. And I thought I'd tell you that last year was our full year, and we did about $18,000, which maybe sounds like a lot, but a retailer's never happy. Plus the fact, the more we sell, the more we hope to give to Resident Council Assistance Fund. So, and also I might say I try to do pretty good pricing in there. If you compare it to the outside, I think you'll see that we're fair or maybe more than fair. Also, just an idea, our biggest months, of course, are November and December, but actually last year, August was good too. And that might have been because of the laundry detergent sale, I don't know. And our smallest months have been April and September. And, but if I average them all out, it would be about $1,500 a month we would make if I put the big ones and the small ones together. And then I thought I would tell you that there's a few new things coming in that are kind of maybe a little different. One is bamboo socks. I don't know if any of you had them. I know Tim wears bamboo socks all the time, but they're not fancy ones. And they're a little more expensive, but they're really good. I guess your feet don't perspire as much, and they're soft, and they wear really well. So take a look at those when I get them up. They're probably will go up today. And then we also are getting walking sticks, which some of you use, and so those will be in the shop. And also the lanterns are back, and that were so popular, and I've done several orders on. I have a little reorder on those, and the hats with the lights on them, which we've done very well with. So then I also just want to mention, several of you probably know Milton Wolf, but we will have his little book in the shop too. So for those of you that want to get it. Several Valentine things for some new crystal jewelry and a lot of little things that make for a good Valentine's gift. Any questions? Yeah, Laura? That's just sales. That's not profit. I wish it was. I really wish it was. But no, that's sales. Okay. I wish I could tell you how much has gone into Residents Assistance Fund. I was thinking about that when I was walking over here this morning, and I can't. They're in the office, they're working on a new program and stuff, so I'm hoping that we'll be able to know that in the future. But remember, the 18,000 is retail, And I have to have some of that back to buy more merchandise and other supplies that we need. And then we have to pay taxes out of that because when you buy, you don't have to pay the tax on what you buy. And so we take it out downstairs to sell it, or on this floor, to send it to the government. And so by the time, I think we've probably pretty much maybe paid for actually remodeling the area and the fixtures and stuff we had to get. But hopefully I'll be able to tell you that in the near future. Okay?
All right, thank you very much. Quick floor reports. Fourth floor, we don't have anybody here from the fourth floor, I don't think. No. Okay, fifth floor. Something real brief. What? Go ahead. Good. Thank you. Molly?
Always quiet on the 6th floor.
Well said. Thank you. 7th floor. Jim? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Liz? There you are. Well, here. Can you grab this? Okay, wait. There's one coming from behind you. There you go.
Okay, not much to report from last month. February 13th is our floor meeting, and February 13th is also Palentine's Day. And that's not made up, that's true. It's a global friendship day. So that's our floor meeting day, and we're going to have a Palentine's Day party.
Wonderful. Okay, 9th floor. Jean's not here. Rosemary's not here. So as a stand-in, I can tell you nothing's happening on the 9th floor. Sheila, here comes a mic. Right behind you, Sheila. There you go.
Do I have to get up here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway, so best news is that we have the 2 units. There's a large, what is that, studio and a 1-bedroom being combined on the 10th floor, and that has been sold, and they're moving in August. So that's very exciting for us since we've been anxious to fill those units. And I guess the only other thing I'll say is that yesterday we had a visit from the firemen. If any of you noticed, about noon, Teresa and Keith and I got to watch the fire truck put their ladder up the side of the building, and they wave and smile, and 3 guys climb up, and it's but we just want to make sure that works, and they go up to the top, up on the roof, I guess. So that was neat, except it reminded me that when Scotty was here, if any of you remember, Scotty lived in 902. And the year they put the ladder up there, he came out, he was very disturbed. He said, remember his sense of humor, he said, I really thought they were bringing me a 6-pack.
That's great. Denise?
Okay, for Cove East. Unfortunately, we had the passing of Dave Parker, which has saddened us all, but Julia wants us to know how grateful she was that he had such wonderful care here at our health center, and it was so great to have it here so she could be with him. And we also are saddened about Carol Flaherty, who was a resident of Cove East for the first 2 years. But on the upside, we are going to have a little Super Bowl party on Sunday.
Okay, right next to you, Denise. Elaine, Cove West.
All right. Cove West continuing with its party central theme. We had a white elephant gift exchange party, which was very much fun. We also will have a new resident moving in on the 22nd of this month, and that will be our third Judy in the building. So when we get all the Judys settled, we may have a new record. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Just to mention, you said you're having a Super Bowl party. There is going to be a Super Bowl party in the lower level as well. You may have seen the posting. There will be nibblies and that sort of thing and non-alcoholic refreshments, but you're welcome to bring whatever it is you might want to bring along. A couple of other event reminders. WACRA, that's the Washington Continuing Care Residents Association, will have its Board of Directors meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock here. And they will discuss WACRA's current legislative efforts and what's being done with last year's report from the Office of the Insurance Commissioner to improve residents' protection and safety. All residents are welcome to come to that meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the chapel. Also, the Hearthstone Board of Trustees will be making its annual report to the delegates from the 13 churches that founded the Hearthstone. That'll happen 1 week from today at 7 in the evening here in the chapel. All residents are welcome. Floor and building chairs have been collecting questions from residents for the board. General questions to the board, not specific operational questions. General questions for the board. Each floor building can deliver two questions to our Vice President, Georgia, by the end of business tomorrow. In March, the Lunch with Reggie sessions will be renewed. It's an opportunity for those of you who may not have been here before when that was going on, for residents to join the CEO and a member of the Residents Council leadership for lunch on Wednesday. I want to stress something because it was mentioned to me that some residents have been misinformed. This is one of those things that just kind of rankles me because they've been told that you cannot bring controversial issues to that lunch. That is simply not true. I've been to every one of the lunches, and there have been some controversial things brought to it, and it's a healthy discussion. So please do not accept that kind of a statement. It is an open forum and a great chance for you to sit down with the CEO and have an open discussion. If you want to take part, all you need to do is send a message to Hallie, and she'll put you on the list. Those start again in March. And then finally, the resident engagement team will be selling Valentine's today, Friday, and next Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. at the Water's Edge. $2 each, which is charged to your account. Each Valentine includes a card, you get to design it, and chocolates. The Valentines will be delivered to residents' mailboxes on Valentine's Day. It's a nice opportunity to spread love and support by purchasing a card for residents in our health center, assisted living, or memory care. Of course, you may also send a Valentine to all your Hearthstone friends and that special someone. Remember Secret Santa? Why don't you become a secret Cupid? Okay? It's all set. Secret Cupid. With that, I think we've covered everything, and I would call for adjournment. All those in favor? Let me add one thing. As I sit up here and watched you, you all kept your masks up all the time. And it's not easy in a crowded room like this. It's keeping us all safe. Thank you. Go enjoy the day.